Hello and welcome to the Grade 3 Keyboard Tutor Book, Lesson 1. We'll start the lesson straight away by opening the book and looking at the scale, arpeggio and tonic chord of E flat major. Now for this scale, you'll need to try and do this scale 2 octaves, both hands together. Now when you do flat scales, they do have a particular kind of fingering that you need to follow very carefully. And so it's a good idea to maybe try the scale separate hands first, then try to put it together. So I'm going to ask Craig to demonstrate the right hand scale of E flat major to us now. Scale. And then moving on to the arpeggio. The arpeggio again is 2 octaves and you play this just in your right hand. And finally, the tonic chord of E flat is played in the 3 inversions with the left hand. So you've got your root, your first inversion, and your second inversion. Okay, so the first piece that you're going to play for your lesson 1 is a piece called Sailor's Hornpipe. Now this piece is quite a fast piece, and so my suggestion with this is to maybe practice it slowly to start with and then gradually build up the speed incrementally until you feel you're happy with the speed that you're playing it at. Now the voice for this one is the accordion and the rhythm is classed as a Scottish reel. Not all keyboards will have this on, so if your keyboard doesn't have a Scottish reel, choose your own rhythm, your own left hand that you think is very, very suitable for this. Now, this is very good if you've got a keyboard that doesn't have a very good dynamic range, where you haven't got the facility to change the dynamics very much, because it is the same volume all the way through. So do bear in mind that when you get to this sort of level, choose a piece that gives the best for the keyboard that you have. So I'm going to ask Craig now to give a performance of the Sailor's Hornpipe. So moving on to the next piece. Now this is a direct contrast to the piece we've just heard. It's called Teardrops. Now it does involve voice changes, and it gives you the opportunity to play very musically if you can put these voice changes in. So you'll see the voice is in English horn to start with, then you've got a vocal section at bar 17. Now you add the vocal to that. So in the previous grades we have talked about how you set up dual voices on your keyboard, and you will be expected to do a dual voice on your keyboard if you choose this piece to play in the exam. Then you can see at bar 33 you go back to playing the English horn again. Now The great thing about this piece, it is very slow, so it does give you the opportunity to really think about the dynamics as well. And you'll see that this piece has got a great dynamic variety in. So you will be expected to put some dynamic variety in this because the piece is slower. So you can see you've got a dynamic of a piano at the beginning, then you've got an MP, then at bar 17 you've got an MF, and then a crescendo moving up to a forte at bar 29, then a diminuendo. So all of these dynamics should be put in if you decide to choose this piece for your examination. Now at the end, you're required to stop the rhythm and then play what is called cadenza. Now this is where you'll get performances that are quite unique in the examination room, because you are asked to write your own cadenza. So a cadenza really is an improvised section that's played by the performer. And so it can be as long or as short as you decide to play it. Now, Craig is going to be putting in his own cadenza in this performance, but you shouldn't just copy what he does. You should invent your own cadenza to give your own ownership to the piece of music, so that you are playing a unique performance of your own. So do bear that in mind when you decide to choose this piece. Okay, so over to Craig now for a nice performance of Teardrops. And that completes lesson 1.